What's up? My name is Felix. I'm just an ordinary kid. I go to school, I have lots of friends, and love playing sports. You probably noticed something about me, though. I'm missing an eye. This makes daily life pretty tough since I have bad depth perception, but I have very loving parents who take great care of me. They told me that I was born with a rare disease that affected the nerves in my eye, and in order to save my vision, they had to take out my left eye. This is what they had me believe until I found out what really happened. It turns out my parents were hiding a secret about my body for 14 years. The deeper I dug, the more twisted things got. I was always a little bit suspicious of my parents. Let me explain. You see, my parents don't really look like me. They have dark brown hair and brown eyes, while I have blonde hair and green eyes. Or rather, a green eye. I mean, I guess that's normal, but there were other signs I should have seen earlier. No one in my extended family had blonde hair either, so I was always standing out at family gatherings. On my 16th birthday, though, I overheard my mom and aunt talking about me in the kitchen. Of course, I eavesdropped like any person would. I heard my aunt whisper, "Have you told Felix yet?" My mom said, "What?" My aunt replied, "You have to tell him the truth, that he's adopted, and about the accident." The accident? More importantly, I'm adopted? I stood there in shock, unable to move. Thankfully, my aunt and mom left the room. I felt so hurt, betrayed, and sad. So many emotions flooded in at once. My chest felt tight and I couldn't breathe. I was having a full-blown panic attack. I had these episodes before, so I just focused on my breathing and finally was brought back to my senses. Once my head cleared, questions started coming in. What was my aunt talking about? What accident? I knew I had to get to the bottom of this. I confronted both my parents the next day. My parents apologized since this was not the way they wanted me to find out. They said that it was true, I was adopted, but they don't know who or where my real parents are, and they didn't want to know. But when I asked them what they meant by the accident, their moods changed. My dad's face turned cold and stern, and he said, "Your aunt is crazy, and we are never going to speak of this ever again." I still had so many unanswered questions, and I felt like I didn't get any closure from them. Every time I tried to bring it up again, my parents would be unresponsive or angry and then defensive. I knew I wasn't going to get far with them, so I took matters into my own hands. I spent long nights researching, trying to find out who my real parents were and what actually happened to me. The more twisted and confusing the story got. I stumbled upon a few articles over 10 years ago about a tragic family that fell apart. I dug deeper and I found out who my real mom was. She was a psychiatrist helping people cope with severe mental illnesses. While she was practicing, she met my dad, Jacob. He was a patient of hers suffering from schizophrenia, but somehow they fell in love and had me. Sadly, she passed away while giving birth to me, and even though I have no memory of her, I was still filled with sadness when I read about her. Jacob, my real dad, is still alive. I decided to focus my search on him. I tried to do more research, but kept hitting a wall. There were no more articles about them after that. Seems like he just disappeared off the face of the earth. I spent more months digging through articles, town registries, and local news until I finally found something that answered so many questions. Was this the dark secret my parents were hiding about me? I found an article in the library that read, "Schizophrenic man devastated by wife's death stabs son in the eye." I was horrified. This secret was unraveling before me so quickly that I didn't even know how to process anything. I stopped eating and sleeping, and I almost lost the ability to speak. My parents were so worried, they rushed me to a doctor. I spent a week in the hospital when finally the doctor diagnosed me with having PTSD. I had gone through such a traumatic experience as a child that my brain had taken those memories and shoved them deep down inside. These traumatic experiences, if not addressed properly, could manifest themselves in really dangerous ways. My adoptive parents were devastated. They promised to have an honest conversation with me once I was out of the hospital. They felt so guilty for hiding this secret about my body for years, thinking they were protecting me the whole time, when really they were making things worse. It's gonna be tough trusting them again, but I'm just glad that I finally know the truth. It will take a lot of therapy to get through this, but at least I have parents who care about me, even if they aren't my biological parents. Thanks for letting me share this story with you. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences below, and don't forget to subscribe to hear more stories like mine.